The second set will be played on Whirlwind. Spawning up in the top right-hand position, your red Protoss from SK Telecom T1. His name is Brown.
His opponent spawning on the right bottom position, the 5 o'clock position, playing for STX as the blue Protoss. His name is Deer.
So yeah, haven't seen a PvP on this map for a while. It's been a little bit. Generally, other players are, or other races are sent out here, but we'll get to see how the map affects the PvP here.
How do you feel about PvP on this map?
Well, I feel like it's a little bit more common to see faster expansions from players just due to the distance between the bases. So a little bit more common there. Also, I feel like Stargate play is a bit more popular on this map as well, just because there's a lot of open area around the map and very easy to kind of maneuver with air units.
And also, you don't get as punished as much by going Stargate on a smaller map where your opponent can go for really fast 3 gateways and then try to bust up the ramp right away.
Yeah. We could still certainly see some gateway
definitely.
aggression. Definitely still viable on this map, but just saying it's a little bit more common to see maybe more economical builds.
But and also, it's kind of hard to scout the pylon on this map because, first of all, you need to scout where your opponent is, and then you got to scout on the left side and the right side, and also around everywhere to see where the possible proxy pylon is. And there have been some cases where we saw proxy Stargate in PvP.
It's true.
It's easier to hide stuff on this map, so why not?
Well, both players, they're making their second pylon in their main base here. The third one is the one to keep an eye out for. If it's built outside of the base, there's a good chance you're going to have a proxy. And even sometimes players will just try to fake that out to kind of trick their opponents and throw them off guard, essentially, here. And it looks like Brown, he's going to be scouting in the right direction from the get-go here. Deer, he's already went ahead and done that, so everything's looking very similar, mirrored, if you will, between both players at this point.
So now he's just seeing what his opponent Brown is doing. He's seeing that he didn't take a double gas right away. Pretty much the same economy for both of these players. The only difference right now is that, well, we don't have the difference anymore. Both players going for the second gateway.
Yep. A mirror match.
Mirror match, mirror
through
build.
and through, man. Through and through.
So it really depends on the micro if they decide to open up same build, but we still have to wait and see. Is it going to be Stargate or Twilight Council? Robo is still viable in this matchup. We don't see it as often, but some players still go for it.
Generally, if they go for a fast expand, you'll see the Robo as a common follow-up. But as an opening, very, very uncommon nowadays.
And also remember, we've seen some DT expand openings from these players, so just because you're going for the expand doesn't mean that you are going to see the Robo.
That's true. Alright, so we do have a Mothership Core on the way for both players here. Deer grabbing a second Stalker. He's got a probe kind of in a sneaky position up here.
Yeah, but Brown's getting up to 3 gateways while his opponent Deer is only sitting on 2.
Alright, so this could be the aggression we were talking about. It's also very common to follow this up with a Stargate or even a Twilight Council at times. So we're going to probably see some divergent tech paths here very soon. And from the looks of it, Deer, he's scouting around the map looking for proxy pylons. He wants to eventually put on some pressure on his opponent. There is that Stargate we see from Brown here, and Deer going for a proxy Stargate of his own here.
Now, do remember, Brown does have more gateways finishing up than his opponent at this moment, so if Deer does not be careful, then he might actually lose the ground wars, and then from there, Brown's going to have a huge advantage going into it.
That's true, but the one thing that Brown will have to worry about here is that his opponent, he's proxied that Stargate. We're going to almost certainly see an Oracle come out from there, so and he's got to, be ready for that.
So it really depends on what he does with the first Phoenix. Is he actually going to stay inside the main base, or is he going to go for the same Oracle harassment by pressing down right now?
Well, the Warp Gate's finished up for Brown. He's going to move in here. Deer, oh, look at this, so smart, making a Phoenix first. Brown in a very perfect position, and now the Stalkers, they're going to move up here. Nice time warp going down on these units. Deer is not going to be able to escape from this position without losing a lot of units, and we're seeing the Mothership Cannon going down in the main base here, getting a few shots on that Mothership Core, and Brown temporarily, he is forced back, but overall he's in a pretty solid position here.
And it's more solid, just going for it and then killing some Stalkers is okay, by countering that Oracle with the Phoenix. Never mind, that Phoenix is out of position.
The Phoenix out of position, this Oracle. It is spotted now. Will we see a reaction from Brown here? He's got to get those probes out of there immediately. He'll be sending back a lot of his units here. And that Oracle, you know, he's going to get a good amount of damage in here, forcing, killing a sentry off for free, essentially. The Stalkers and the Phoenix are moving in here. They will be able to eventually kill off that Oracle, but it's already gotten up to 6 kills and prevented those probes from mining for a long time. We are already seeing the supply advantage go to Deer here.
Yeah, so now Brown, he can't push out on the map. He needs to play defensive as much as possible inside the main base. So if he's not going to get any other tech down, all they can do right now is get as many probes as possible, get some sentries out for the force fields while getting some voidways out. Because if he moves out on the map, this is going to be really dangerous for Brown.
Brown has to be very careful with his movement on this map. He's going to lose that forward pylon there, and Deer is moving across the map with a pretty large group of Stalkers here. And another proxy pylon getting taken out, this time from Brown here, so both players evening up on killing the proxy pylons. And the Phoenix moving in here, they may be able to snipe off that Mothership Core. I don't think one Stalker can really scare it away here. And this is going to be a nice boon for Brown here.
Goodbye. Also picking up 1 probe, 2 probe, and 3rd probe before getting out.
Hey, so you know what? Actually not too bad for Brown there. I think that really helped kind of even out some of the Oracle damage.
In fact, both players are even on the probe count. Deer is going for the Twilight Council, but he's making nothing from the Stargate, so getting up to 6 kills is nice with a single Oracle, but it doesn't justify enough if you actually put the pylon and the Stargate over at that location.
And look at this, the Phoenixes, they moved in there, sniped off another worker, and they saw the expansion as well.
So Brown, because of this, he's squeezing units out. Immortal coming out. He already has a Void Ray and getting a Nexus for himself. But do remember, if he sees that he has enough units, he could just push down and win the game right away.
Now, Brown, interestingly enough, he's going to reveal this Void Ray here. And, well, I guess that's going to be spotted here from Deer.
Well, Deer does know about the Stargate tech from his opponent, Brown, so he's just showing us like, hey, I'm just going to destroy it right away with a single Void Ray, and that Stargate is nullified.
That's true.
He also didn't want to move all of his units outside of the natural just to kill that single pylon. He didn't want to risk all of his units getting out of position.
And I guess another thing is, now Deer, he's only going to think that his opponent has the Void Rays. He could think that there may be Immortals eventually mixed into the composition, but he doesn't know for sure.
And that's the reason why he's pushing down. He has a Blink, which is perfect against the Void Rays.
All right, Brown, this is going to be do or die for him here. He's going to be forced to defend this, and it looks like Deer does not want to commit here. The Phoenix is continuing to do annoying harassment over here. That Immortal gets sniped off here, and the Void Ray is next. Nice micro here from Deer, getting a pretty nice trade there, losing a few Stalkers for some expensive units. And Brown, you know, he's gotten a good amount of kills on those Phoenix, actually, being very cost-efficient with them. But losing that Void Ray and the Immortal, definitely something he did not want in this situation. But he will be able to stabilize now that his Nexus has completed.
Now that his Nexus has completed, and the second Immortal coming out pretty soon. He does have less Stalkers, but with the Nexus, with the Mothership Core and the second Immortal coming in, it's really hard for Deer to do any more damage with only Stalker-based army.
And that second Immortal added into the army here is going to make it a little bit more difficult, but
that's a lot
of Stalkers from Deer here. He's just going to be able to try to focus fire on the Immortals, and we do have a force field going down. The second Immortal, solo, it does get taken out. Minerals are being brought off the worker line right now, and Deer, you know, he's doing a lot of economic damage here.
Deer's doing a lot of economic damage, but do remember, he didn't kill that many probes, but when it comes to pure army count, Deer does have more Stalkers than his opponent Brown. The second Immortal does come out, but easily sniped by the Stalkers. Is it gonna get taken out?
Looks like it will go down here, but he is losing a lot of Stalkers. Still just a few more than his opponent. Remember, Blink, it will allow you to out-micro your opponent. Brown is, strangely enough, ahead in supply here. Throughout all of this, starting to even out again now. The reinforcements, though, will that be enough? Can Deer break Brown in this scenario?
At this point,
Immortal is out.
At this point, all Deer can do is snipe the Immortal one by one and try to delay Brown from pushing out while getting his own Robo-Tech. He does have the Robo to himself, but he doesn't have enough economy to get any units out from the Robo.
I have to say, very, very sick defense from Brown. It looks so bad for him here. But, you know, just constantly chronoing out these Immortals, they have allowed him to just barely survived by the skin of his teeth here.
And also, during those engagements, Deer, he didn't kill that many probes.
Oh, he didn't. Brown did bring a few off his mineral line, but didn't lose any of these stalkers, though. They're moving in here. Will they be able to get that immortal? Second immortal is out, though. That is going to force Deer back here, and as long as that weakened immortal can recover some health, things are going to be looking good for him. Brown, he's defending well here, but I would like to see him do some Jangbi-style Zealot run-bys.
He forgot about the probe after seeing the push coming out by Deer, and look at this Deer trying to do more damage once again. Going for the hurt immortal, and he does take it down.
Getting that immortal. Deer is just doing amazing with this Blink Stalker micro here.
Really being cost efficient.
Exactly, and just keeping his opponent's tech down and preventing him from getting anything else other than what he has to get right now, which is the immortals. I guarantee you that we wouldn't see as much immortals out from Brown unless this continued harassment came from Deer here. But the supplies, they're still very even. We do see that proxy pylon get warped in here, so Brown, when he's comfortable, I think he will have a warp in and send that to his opponent's natural base.
But it's too early at this point because there's still constant pressure from Deer, and he doesn't have enough army to defend against the Blink Stalker-based army of Deer if he actually warps in outside of his main base. So it's a little bit risky for him to do that maneuver right now.
I think when this third... we do have a few warped in here. Force field's going down. And the Immortals, the third Immortal will join the party, and Deer's got to get out of there now. The problem, though, is two Zealots moving into Deer's natural mineral line, and these Zealots here, they're going to be able to do a good amount of damage.
One Zealot getting warped in, but it doesn't matter because that's 1 against 2. There was also a Phoenix that could lift that Zealot that's defending the natural right now. Really nice snipe by Deer once again. He's doing a fantastic job sniping these Immortals and trying to delay Brown's timing attack, but now he knows that it's too much and he needs to get out of there. He does have the Robo Bay going up, but he needs to make one Immortal to make sure that his opponent does not bust right away.
Now, looking at the supplies right now, Brown slightly ahead throughout all of this, showing great composure during the constant, insane pressure from Deer, which was very close to breaking Brown. But like you said, he didn't really lose too many workers there. And now with the slight lead here, he's going to start that Colossus production momentarily.
Yeah, so now it's not looking good for Deer when it comes to the long run because both players started making the Immortals. Yes, Deer got the Colossus tech a little bit faster, but it doesn't matter because both players are getting Immortals right now. And the second round of warping from the Robo is going to be Colossus at the same time. So if you just look at the firepower from both of these players, Brown is going to have 2 more Immortals and Deer is just going to have more Stalkers, which is not going to matter later into the game.
Brown looking like he wants to take a third base here, but Deer doing a good job with that map control, preventing that from happening. We do have the +1 attack on the way for Deer here. We should see that shortly from Brown, because as you guys can see, that Forge did finish here. Now we have the Colossus tech on the way. Double Robo from Brown here. We're not seeing that quite yet from Deer, though.
Yeah, Deer, his priority is just to make sure he defends that little choke outside of the base while Brown is thinking more ahead. And he's like, well, I can't take the third base right now, so I'm going to go for a more Zealot-based Colossus army.
A nice snipe there on that Observer from Brown. Completely ready for the blink into the main base here. Once again, just showing very solid and mechanically sound play.
Both players are mining out at the main base, and that does cause Deer to go for the third base right away at the 6 o'clock position, but there's small harassment at the natural, which I don't know what it was. There was something blinking.
I guess nothing anymore at this point. Brown grabbing his third base right now, and we're seeing that second Robo from Deer here, but it is a little bit behind his opponent. The advantage he will have, though, is in that +1 upgrade. It's going to finish way before Brown's +1 finishes up here. Probably won't make a huge difference, though.
Yeah, and that's only because his opponent Brown, he has 2 Immortals and double Colossus production compared to Deer from STX. So even if he has the upgrade advantage, he needs a perfect positioning. If not, he can't actually take advantage of the +1.
Let's also not forget that a lot of that extra supply that Deer has is in Stalkers right now compared to the Immortals or other valuable units. So as the time goes on in this game, those Stalkers will become less and less useful.
Yeah, at this point it's actually useful. They could blink in, snipe 1-2 Colossus right away, and that gives you the advantage. But when it goes up to 4 or 5 Colossuses, the Stalkers it's better to throw them away by trying to snipe the probes one by one, or even going for some pylons and nexus.
Exactly.
That's uncovered.
Brown still continuing to keep a solid supply advantage here. Nothing too crazy, but certainly a bit of an advantage here. And he's just getting everything, I feel, overall a little bit faster than his opponent, besides those upgrades there. And Deer able to start that +2 attack immediately due to the fact that he did get that Twilight Council earlier on for that blink.
Brown does have the Twilight Council finished up, so he is thinking about the +2 as soon as the +1 finishes. He just didn't press it in time.
Yeah, okay, so Deer, it looks like he wants to get aggressive move across the map here, but he doesn't realize that he's actually behind in supply, and army composition-wise, he's a little bit weaker, so he's going to end up moving back here. I think he just wanted to kind of
scare his opponent.
And I think it actually worked, you know? Looks like Brown was kind of a little bit scared here, but he is getting that +2 attack now. Charge on the way. Not seeing a Templar Archives yet from Brown, though. He does need to get that, but very low on gas compared to his opponent Deer at this point.
Yeah, he's been spending a lot of gas, dumping them into the double robo, going for the charge and +2 at the same time, so he doesn't have the room to go for the Templar Archives. Only just so he starts it. So it's a difference between getting a charge first and getting a Templar Archives first.
Well, there's that Templar Archives right now as we were talking about it. 2 extra gateways being added on for Brown from this point as well. And looks like Deer also getting a few more gateways, grabbing the charge as well. His +2 just completing now. And he's got a few cannons, though, at the space, though, prepared against any type of annoying harassment. Adding those Archons into the army now as well, which Brown currently lacks.
And that's a really nice positioning from Brown. He does have the one Immortal in the back. He needs, not Immortal, Colossus in the back. He needs to bring that out.
Trying to do a little bit of a solid run by here from Brown, but not going to work against Deer. He has a Warpin and a few cannons there at that third to keep it safe, so now just more reinforcements from Deer here. He is starting to get ahead in a really good supply position here. He's getting a lot of Archons added into his army right now.
This is a little bit iffy for Deer to actually push into. Remember, he has less Colossus than his opponent. The Immortal count is way in Brown's favor right now, so only thing that Deer can depend on is the Archons. The charge is also finished for Brown.
All right, now we have the players moving in. Nice time warp from Brown. Look at the arc from Brown right now. He's going to be able to completely destroy this army here, and Deer, I am not sure if we'll be able to move through here. He does have a few Archons. He's doing a good amount of damage, but the Colossus count and the Immortals are looking so solid, but Brown still moving back here.
The upgrade and the Archon advantage was too much for our Protoss player from SK Telecom T1 as he slowly pushes up the ramp.
Wow, things were looking so good for Brown here. He had perfect positioning. But Deer, like you mentioned, that +2 upgrade hit, and that may be the difference here. These, it looks like these Colossus here, they are forcing probes off the mineral line. They're going to be able to evaporate most of the Zealots here. And now the supply is so far ahead in Deer's favor here. GG is called. That engagement, man, I thought that Brown was going to take that.
Well, Brown did have the better arc, but he didn't have the supporting ground army. Remember, he didn't have any Archons. He had few Zealots mixed into the composition, but not as many charge loss were involved in the main battle, which means his opponent Deer, even if he had the less Colossus, he was attacking his opponent's Colossus first from the bottom side. On the top side, yes, there were the Immortals, but he just had better upgrades, and the Archons was tanking all the damage from the Immortals.
Yeah, it looks like those Archons really made a huge difference in that battle here.